Hello, everyone. My name's Stephanie. I'm a licensed esthetician and makeup artist. I own a little store and salon here in Las Vegas that I specialize in male to female, female to male transformation. I also work with red carpet special events, weddings, and all of that. Just for some of you that don't know, I'm pre-recording this because I was supposed to be live, but was having a horrible time with my microphone, and just it's just been one of those days. Anyway, I am transgender, and we are here to discuss transgender stuff. Everything from makeup to politics. Someone asked me last week how I'm doing, and that felt really good for someone to ask that. They're like, put your store and your shows and everything you do aside, and how are you doing? Um, I'm okay. I'm going through stuff. As some of you may know, I'm going through kidney issues and all of that right now. And also just being old because I'm a senior T. And it's frustrating dating in the world anymore, but especially the T world. And I hear things from females and gay friends of mine and how difficult it is. But it seems like, and sex is great. Who doesn't love it? But it seems like everything is so centered around it that they kind of put the cart before the horse. And instead of getting to know someone and them wanting to be intimate, and we've all had our slut moments, we all go through that. There's a place for all of that. I believe that. But when you're saying you're serious about a relationship or you're looking for one, and you meet someone and you don't have sex with them right away, then that's like a game changer for them. They don't want to see you again, or they think that you're stuck up or a prude or something along those lines. It gets frustrating. So I'm basically giving up on a lot of the dating and all of that, and just can't be bothered. Just go to work and do my little show that I love to do every Thursday at 9:30 at Flex, and it's just what it is. And I see so many people out there, at least in Vegas. I don't know about other places, but in Vegas, all the smoking and the other kind of stuff. I had to learn a whole new language on some of these dating apps because they were trying to say what they were doing, but not fully coming out and saying it, like clouds and, seeing their sister Crystal and all of that. And it was, as old as I am, it was still shocking, even though I knew people did that. But some of these people just look very normal. But then you realize how out of control their life is, and or how sad they are that they do all of that. And yeah, loneliness isn't great, but it's better than a whacked out person on all of that stuff. And yeah, we all have our issues and stuff like that, but it's like, dude, you need to bring more to the table than just some weed or other stuff like that. We should be best friends, not, oh, thank you for letting me be the woman I want to be. Well, if you're going to treat me like the woman I want to be, I need $1 million, a Rolls Royce, and all of that. But I'm not looking for all of that. That would be nice, but I'm not looking for all of that. I'm actually looking, or was looking for a masculine guy that is secure with his own sexuality and that happens to be into women like me, not into a fetish or into like, you know, they say they're into T girls. Well, I'm long past being a girl and more, I'm older now. And so if they want someone really super young, um, no. And it seems like guys my age and just a little younger want everyone in their 20s, 30s, 40s. 40s are kind of pushing it. But you get over 50, you get over 60, it gets even more difficult. And it seems like the younger guys want the older girls like me, but they don't want to make a commitment. And I totally understand that because they're young and they got their whole life ahead of them and blah, 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 blah. But I'm underneath it all, hopeless romantic. And that's what's going on that's kind of what's going on in my life. On a brighter note, though, the club I've been working at all of these years, where I MC and get to perform, I impersonate like Reba and Liza and get to do a bunch of nasty jokes and all of that and have fun. Um, they just built my new dressing room at the club. We had moved from across town over to where we are now at 501 East Twain, Flex Cocktail Lounge. And the dressing room is absolutely amazingly beautiful. And I knew it was going to take them a minute to do, but they did it right. And it's one of the better dressing rooms I've ever been in or have ever had. Even when I was working in really big shows, we had like more of a makeshift dressing room than anything. But this is like a whole dedicated. It's small, but it's really nice. Enough for 4 people, 5 if they're really skinny. Anyway, as far as the store goes, my complex here, where I have my shop, has sold, and we have new landlords, and so far they seem to be okay. I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Rob, who helped me completely redesign the whole store. And in another quickie video, I'm going to do a walkthrough the way the setup and everything is now. I really like the setup. It's nice. And it flows really, really well, and I love that. And I have a bunch of new inventory in. Also, to my little B-boy out there that likes to come in and empty my trash and everything, I'm just saying hi to you. I told you I'd mention you, so hi to you. And let's see what else is going on. I like the live chat. That way I can like actually talk to people. I have an eye appointment on Thursday, tomorrow, in my show. They're dilating my eyes. I hate that. But I had some bleeding behind my eyes because of the diabetes. They said that was kind of normal, even though my vision was 20/20. I know that's not perfect vision, but it's good, especially for being a diabetic and all of that. I may end up with glasses all the time. I've been wearing like these little readers, and I they're just magnifying. They're not. They're like 100, and it actually helps me see smaller stuff. So it's not that bad, but I'm just trying to nip it in the butt before it gets really, really. I don't want to go blind or anything like that. Of course, that'd be horrible. Loving to do makeup and reading and all of that, and not being able to see it. But anyway, I just want to give a few shouts out to everyone and say thank you for everything and asking about me. Everything it's okay. It's okay. It's just life, and I, I I was raised. Many of you know I was raised very Catholic. I'd been in a seminary, studied to be a priest, and things never really felt right about a lot of the religions out there. And I do love talking history, religion, politics. I love talking about all of that. And I know some people don't, they get uncomfortable with it. And in this day and age, if you're not with me, you're against me. I believe in freedom of speech, but as long as you're speaking along my lines, and then you can have that freedom. And I guess I'm just a bit more of a hippie and live and let live. And if you want an abortion, have one. If you want gay marriage, have one. Um, if you want to vote for Biden, fine, but don't put me down because maybe I like Trump, or, just saying. Um, we should all be adults enough and not throw temper tantrums, and respect each other's views. I've learned a lot from people that don't have my views. Um, and it's opened my eyes to a lot because I always like to know what it's like to be in other people's shoes and why they're a certain way. Um, but anyway, I love talking about all of that. And so recently, I've been more on a spiritual journey. Um, I've had a lot of inflammation in my body. Um, and finding out about the kidney disease, um, and which was brought on by hormones. Because the hormones that I did for a number of years when I was younger, um, that helped contribute to um, diabetes, and all the meds on the diabetic medication cause the kidney issues. And I've been trying to get rid of diabetes. It's so simple, it's hard, but yeah, you can. I know people that got rid of it. And I've been on this really super strict diet. And it's made me realize how much inflammation is in my body, how I have rosacea, because it is inflammation, but it's not as bad as it was. I'm not having the breakouts because I've switched that diet, and it's almost a vegan diet. I have to watch my proteins with actual meat. I have to get that more from a vegetable, but I do still eat a little chicken. I've stayed away from beef. I mean, I like meat. No pun intended there. That's my dirty humor. And it's different. I like bread, but I've not eaten a lot. But I just switched over to a keto bread that's no sugar, low carbs. I think it has one carb in it, and extremely low sodium because I have to watch the sodium too. But since I switched over to this, I am feeling better. Um, and I've noticed depression that I used to get isn't as bad. But the big thing I noticed was, and I guess my granny had, she was wise and I didn't listen to her. She said, eat your greens and you'll have pretty skin and you'll feel better. And I didn't. I like broccoli, but that wasn't like greens. We used to go like poke hunting when I was a kid, um, poke hunting. And that's like a big green leafy that would grow wild. This was in Oklahoma. I used to stay with her a lot in the summer, especially. And she lived like 40, 50 miles out in the country in the rolling hills. And it was absolutely beautiful. But yep, and she grew strawberries, all of that kind of stuff. And they had horses, the whole 9 yards for a while till she moved into the city, of course. And I hated that stuff and it smelled so bad. But as I got older, I realized how right they all were. And I've gone to this diet and it's like really super help. I don't know. I mean, I'm old, so you're going to see like all these lines, even though I have them kind of covered up. You know, the light, the light that's coming in is like the natural sunlight, so it helps. But I haven't had other than a beard removal, augmentation. I did have silicone in my hips and my butt. I had all of that taken out because it ran into problems, and I don't ever advise getting any of that. Um, but I'm just going to see this line is a little more than this one over here. But this one, I had had some procedures done to help with that line to get it more like over here because it comes all the way down. And it seems to have made it worse. And I've always kept up with my skin, um, but I'm just getting old and I don't get a lot of sleep. So, but I do love makeup. I hate it. I hate pulling it off. I find it fun putting on, but just the cleansing and the heavy cleansing. So I try when I'm off work and I'm not going anywhere. I try to go a day with absolutely raw face, raw makeup, nothing on, except moisturizer and sunblock. I wear sunblock every day. I have for umpteen years, ever since I've been about 16. Um, I've worn sunblock, and I've been off hormones a very, very, very long time. But it still had its effect with the diabetes and all of that. And in this day and age, I mean, people will take it the way they want, but with all of the cosmetic stuff around, not just makeup, but the procedures, you don't necessarily need hormones. What are you wanting to achieve from it? I'm just not saying don't do it, but I'm just saying, take care of your skin. And we all get old, and it's hard, especially when, you're on stage and a lot of people know you and they perceive you to be one way, but underneath it, you're really probably not that way. Maybe a little bit, but not as much as they think you are. Um, if I didn't do the drag shows, which I love to do, because it releases my creativity. I get to sew, I get to do all the makeup, style the wigs, and just kind of escape to a fantasy world for a little while too. Um, I don't know what I would do with myself. And I would be very boring and probably wouldn't wear as much makeup as I like to wear even right now. And speaking of makeup, this is a green that I have on my eye, and I forgot to bring it in. But I'm always going to like, I love bargains, and I love my makeup I sell here. I have some great makeup, but sometimes if I see a really good deal, I get it and I want to try it. And Wet and Wild, I know that's a cheap brand, but they have this stick that looks like it's about as big as a pin, maybe a little bit smaller, and it looks like clown white except it's creamy. And this is a highlighter. And I used a little on my eyes, but then I went in and powdered over it. But I used it around here. And it has this really good glow to it. Um, but it's not like clown white. It you don't need a powder with it, and it dries, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a glow. I did it down like the tip of my nose too. I don't know if you can see. I didn't do it heavy like stage makeup, so I just have like regular daytime makeup on. But I also use it, not this time, but I've used it on my lips when I bought it after I put lipstick on, and it gave that. It's really super cool, and it's not heavy or any of that. The only bad thing is that you need a primer with it, and I hate wearing primers. I wear a foundation every day, CoverGirl. I always used to say CoverGirl doesn't cover boy, but it covers half a boy. Um, anyway, I use just a couple of drops, and when I say a couple of drops, I mean a couple of drops, and it goes from here to here with it. I could probably get more out of it, and it lasts quite a while. I don't break out from it. It's a true matte makeup because I have very combination skin, but I also don't touch up all my makeup throughout the day like some people. So I want it to last, and it says it holds up to 12 hours, and yeah, I'll put it through it. It does. Sometimes it comes off my nose a little bit, but even the most expensive makeup does too. But anyway, I just wanted to check in and tell everyone hi. Stop by the store. We're at 2202 West Charleston. Look at me, sounding like the Queen of England, speaking in the third person. I'm at 2202 West Charleston, Las Vegas, Nevada. It's suite number 14. The zip is 89102. But stop in. I have a lot of sales going on wigs right now. Love, love, love wigs. And I also have some services like waxing and facials and stuff that are going on sale in May. May, I will be here at this location for 9 years. Can you believe that? 9 years. I can't believe I've been here in this location for so long. I'm still here, still holding on, still fighting. The pandemic really did a lot. I haven't bounced back as strong as I thought I was going to, but I have bounced back somewhat. Overall, I'm pretty happy. I try not to have a lot of stress in my life, and meditation for me is so hard, and I meditate different. I can do that through sewing, through makeup, through drawing, painting. I find that easier than sitting there and just trying to go, all of that. I get more inside myself. And as I said, I'm going on this spiritual journey. The door's been open for a while, but I've been recently started taking it more serious. I think most of that, not because of kidneys or diabetes or anything. I think it's just the fact I'm getting older. And my whole life, I was always surrounded by death. Everyone I knew when I was very young was dying. I was around a lot of old people. And some of my earliest memories are my grandfather and his funeral, and I remember everything about that. But then the 80s and even the 90s, I had a lot of friends die of HIV, well, of AIDS, and a few of them are still alive, doing well because they've come leaps and bounds with the medications and stuff like that, and they're healthier now than they were because they're living a healthier lifestyle. But this journey, it's really interesting because it's kind of like, well, I won't mention the horrible villain from World War II that overtook Germany and stuff, but he had quoted, he goes, give me a child in their formative years and he will be exactly the way I molded him when he's 40, 50, or 60 years old. And religions like that too. And some of it, it's hard to get out of your head. But I've been looking more, even though it was considered heresy, I've been looking more at Gnostic, and some of it, yeah, I get it. And some of it, I'm kind of like, maybe that's just the leftover Catholic in me. I don't know. And of course, I studied a lot about all the church's history, and I lived all of that. And, St. Augustus, I was always kind of stuck on original sin and something the church has always pushed. But I got to researching more and then remembering back to my seminary days, St. Augustus, he was a pervert. He was a sexual deviant. And he's the one who came up with the idea of original sin, and then the church kind of took it from there. Even the Jewish people I know, they don't believe in that. They believe that, like the Garden of Eden and all of that, if that existed, was a lesson. And being Gnostics believe that this world is a trap because of all the materialistic stuff, and that our body is a prison, and that we forgot who the actual real creator is, and that this God that most people seem to worship is a false God, not a real God, and he created all of this out of ignorance, all the materialistic stuff, and his angels are argons is what they're calling, and they're more like a gel cell type thing, and that we need to, and if you go back and look at some of Jesus's teaching, if he even existed, because there's no actual proof he actually existed, just hearsay, but if you go back and read what he taught, and especially the stuff from St. Thomas that he directly said, because there's not that much he directly said. He said that God is all around us, or the Father is all around us, and no, how did he say that? He said the light was all around us, and that the light is in us, and it was translated to Father and to God, and that we, and he didn't say this, the Gnostics say that we just don't remember where we actually come from. We've forgotten, and when we realize we can go back to the light, and the whole reincarnation thing that so many different religions have believed in before Christianity, and even Christianity believed in it for a little while. The Gnostics believe that's more of a control thing, that you just keep coming back enslaved because this God and everything is feeding off our energy. Some of it sounds very sci-fi. Some of it I'm like, okay, I think there's truth in every bit of religion. And I think in general, people are good more than they are bad. And I think bad things happen quickly and you have to make snap decisions. But I do believe there are some things that are just pure evil, but not so much what so many people think. But that's just my outlook on it all. My little thing that I've been going through. And it's been interesting. And there's a gentleman that I follow online. I can never remember his name. I'm horrible with names until I get to know you. But he has long blonde hair and no eyebrows. And a lot of stuff he says makes a lot of sense. Some of it's like, maybe you're just pulling this from your arse, your ass. Am I allowed to even say that? Oh, well, it's raw. It doesn't matter. And I'm not one of those that likes to pick and choose from the Bible. I just believe that be good to be good, even if you don't get a reward at the end of it all. And enjoy life the best you can. And don't sweat the little stuff. And that's what I've been learning a lot. But anyway, this has been going on a little longer than I wanted, and I just want to say thank you, and I will try to be live next week or later, later in the week, because I like that interaction with talking and of everything like that. So y'all have a great day, and I hope to see you around, and make sure you stop in and hit like, subscribe, share. That helps out with all of this. And if you're looking for a makeover, waxing, facial, massage, any of that, contact me. My website's mentioned below. Thank you so much.